Dear friends, today I am telling the story of a woman, separated from her unfaithful husband, who falls madly in love with a younger man who has recently moved in next door. Don't forget to subscribe. The film begins with Claire Peterson, a teacher who lives alone with her son Kevin, after breaking up with her husband, Garrett, due to his affair with his secretary. 9 months later, Claire invites Garrett to dinner for Kevin's birthday, hoping to start fresh. During their conversation, Claire discovers that Garrett is still having an affair with his secretary. Overcome with jealousy, she leaves the table, goes to the bathroom, and bursts into tears. The next day, Claire prepares to take her son Kevin to the doctor, but the garage door unexpectedly gets stuck. As Claire struggles to open it, a young man named Noah comes to her aid. Noah is the nephew of a neighbor who is in a wheelchair. Afterward, Claire and Noah get to know each other. Noah explains that he has come to take care of his uncle while he recovers from surgery and offers to fix the garage door. Claire agrees, and Noah invites Kevin to accompany him to the hardware store to buy a part for the repair. While the boys are out, Noah's uncle tells Claire that Noah's parents died in a car accident last year, and now he is the only member of his family. Later, Kevin becomes curious about Noah and asks him some questions. Noah reveals that he couldn't finish high school due to an accident, but he's about to start studying at Monroe High School. This surprises Kevin, as he also attends school there, just like his mother, who is a teacher. Later, Claire looks out the window and sees Noah helping his uncle and trying to take care of him. The next morning, Noah tries to fix his car with Kevin. During this time, Claire watches them from the window and starts to feel attracted to him. Later, Claire, Kevin, Noah, and Noah's friend Vicky have dinner together, and Claire invites Noah to join them for dinner every evening while his uncle is in the hospital. Noah tells Claire that he is interested in her literature class. One day, Garrett takes his son Kevin on a 3-day camping trip, leaving Claire home alone. During this time, Noah visits Claire and gives her a book as a gift to thank her for helping him while his uncle was away. At night, Claire watches Noah through the window. Noah notices her watching him from a distance, but Claire tries to hide. Claire then goes out on a blind date with her friend Vicky, who wanted to introduce her to a man. However, the date goes poorly because Claire finds him arrogant, so she leaves early and returns home. Shortly after, she receives an unexpected call from Noah, asking for her help with cooking. Claire decides to go to Noah's house to assist him, but Noah makes a move on her, sensing that she may be interested in him. Claire hesitates and tries to push him away, but despite her reluctance, they end up spending a passionate night together. In the morning, Claire wakes up in Noah's bed, overwhelmed with regret. She quietly tries to get dressed and leave. Noah enters the room with breakfast, but Claire tells him that what happened between them the night before was a mistake. Hearing this, Noah becomes angry. Furious, he punches the wall and orders her to leave his house. Claire returns home, and shortly after, her son Kevin arrives from his camping trip with his father, who decides to stay for lunch. However, Claire's mood noticeably worsens due to the situation with Noah. Suddenly, Noah shows up for a visit, causing Claire to panic, fearing he might reveal what happened between them. The next day, the new school year begins. Claire is in her classroom teaching her students when the principal enters and informs her that he has approved her request for Noah to take her classes. Claire is surprised and confused, as she doesn't understand what he's talking about. She leaves the classroom and asks the principal how Noah, who is a senior, could be taking classes meant for juniors. The principal explains that it was Claire who sent an email requesting Noah be allowed to attend her classes. Claire is baffled, as she hasn't sent any such message. When she returns home, she discovers that someone has sent the email from her computer. Later, Noah invites Kevin to the woods to teach him how to shoot. During their time together, Noah tries to manipulate Kevin by speaking negatively about his father, aiming to create discord and turn Kevin against him. That night, Claire, her husband Garrett, and their son Kevin have dinner together. However, Kevin's behavior toward his father suddenly changes due to Noah's manipulation. Kevin argues with Garrett and retreats to his room. The next day, Claire receives flowers with a card asking for a second chance. Assuming the sender is Garrett, she calls him to thank him, but Garrett is confused and doesn't understand what she's talking about. Claire then realizes that it was Noah who sent the flowers. She goes to Noah's place to make it clear that their night together was a mistake and asks him to forget about it and move on. Noah agrees. That evening, Noah watches as Claire returns home with her husband Garrett. They laugh and enjoy their time together, which makes Noah jealous. The next day, in a fit of rage, Noah confronts Claire, accusing her of playing with his feelings and mocking him. Kevin overhears the argument and asks what's going on. Claire tells him to stay away from Noah, claiming he's a bad influence. Upset, Kevin accuses her of trying to keep him away from his friend. In a moment of anger, Kevin gets into Noah's car and drives off with him. At school, Jason tries to provoke Kevin, but Noah steps in aggressively to defend him. This violent act catches the attention of Vicky, the assistant principal, who calls Noah into her office. After discussing his inappropriate behavior, she decides to expel him from school for his actions. The next day, upon arriving at school, Claire walks into her classroom and is shocked to find papers scattered everywhere. The papers are printed with disturbing images that she finds deeply unsettling. Claire is left feeling shaken. Later, Claire returns home and finds her husband Garrett and her son Kevin sitting in the living room with Noah, who is visiting them. Surprised by Noah's presence, Claire heads to the kitchen. Shortly after, Noah joins her, pretending to look for something. Claire directly asks him if he is responsible for the photos found in her classroom. Noah confirms it and admits that he also has a video. He threatens to publish it if she doesn't spend the night at his place. That night, Claire goes to Noah's house hoping to retrieve the video. Noah tries to get closer, claiming that the video isn't a threat but proof of his love for her. Angered, Claire reacts strongly, slaps Noah, and leaves in a fury. Then, Claire meets her friend Vicky and tells her everything that has happened. Together, they decide to implement a plan to steal the video. Vicky gets into Claire's car and drives, while Noah follows her, believing that Claire is behind the wheel. Claire then enters Noah's house and begins to search for the video. She eventually makes her way to the basement and is horrified to discover that the space is filled with photos of her, revealing Noah's obsession. She opens his computer, deletes everything on it, and then quickly flees his house before Noah returns. Claire returns home and calls her friend Vicky to tell her that she found Noah's computer and deleted the video. However, as they are talking, Noah suddenly appears and violently hits Vicky on the head. Claire decides to visit one of the detectives investigating the death of Noah's father. During the meeting, she uncovers a shocking detail: Noah was actually responsible for the accident that caused his father's death, as he had sabotaged the car's brakes. Meanwhile, Noah calls Kevin and asks him to come to Vicky's house with his father Garrett to help fix her tractor. Kevin agrees, unaware of what is really happening. Then, Vicky's phone rings, and Noah answers, pretending to be her. Claire thinks that she's speaking to Vicky, reveals that she discovered Noah was responsible for his father's death. Noah uses a recording of Vicky's voice to deceive Claire and invites her to come to Vicky's house. Claire arrives at Vicky's house and discovers her friend's body. Terrified, she tries to escape by running to her car, but Noah catches up to her. He threatens her with a firearm and declares his love for her, claiming he wants to protect her from her unfaithful husband. Noah also confesses that he killed his father, believing him to be responsible for his mother's suicide. Noah takes Claire to a barn, where she discovers Garrett and Kevin tied up. He threatens to kill them, insisting that he wants to live with Claire. In a moment of desperation, Claire strikes him with a metal object and tries to free Kevin. However, Noah grabs her by the hair and threatens to set the place on fire. Claire tries to stop him, but when Garrett attempts to intervene, Noah shoots him in the shoulder. Kevin manages to free himself and confronts Noah. In a decisive moment, Claire knocks over a motor onto Noah, killing him. Finally, Claire and Kevin help Garrett out of the barn, escaping from the terrifying situation.